pleasure to host you.
Thank you for having me. How are you? You gave me walk for like 2 weeks. I've been on my feet.
We're happy about that. We're happy about that. You're welcome.
Beautiful gathering. Wife of the Speaker of State House of Assembly, Ajia Sarah Larry Maraba, the only female honorable member. Our Excellency Dr. Amina Abubakar Bello. She's accompanied in that same company is the wife of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ajia Sarah Larry Maraba, in person of Honorable Binta Mama. Shall we give her a round of applause? The other wives of honorable members in the House, they are also here present. Wife of the Deputy Chief of Staff, Government House, Aisha Zubairu Isa. Let's give them a round of applause. Our mothers are up to the task and they are up to the occasion this morning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome the wives of all students here with us this morning. Shall we quickly rise for the national anthem? Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's following, to serve our fatherland with all our strength and faith. The name of our heroes shall never be in vain. To serve without our minds, one nation bounding freedom, peace and unity. With others, Excellency is your goal. FUTMinna, Niger State, a citizen of the living, technological advancement of our land is your primary goal. To build a self-reliant force of sound mind and morale, who will make our nation relevant in global development. FUTMinna, we lift your flag up high.
This is indeed an occasion.
Occasions necessarily invite unusual circumstances.
The wife of our amiable governor, Your Excellency, the wife of our Deputy Governor, Honorable, the wife of our Honorable Speaker, then the person that has the distinction of being the only female member of our House of Assembly, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Registrar, University Librarians, Deputy Bossa, senior members of the university community, senior members of government of Niger State, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. From the composition of the hall, we will see that today is an unusual day. We are not used to the wife of governor being an academic. We have one in our midst today. We are not used to having wives that on their own, they can stand the test of time. We have one with us today. So it becomes difficult, very, very difficult to introduce her. I have the fortune of meeting her once. She has passion, great passion for health of people of Niger State. I was in my house one day when I was summoned to the government house. Any problem? Because I do not remember. I quickly phoned the registrar. Do we commit any offense? They are asking for me to the government house. Lo and behold, when I got to the government house, I met Her Excellency. She first of all apologized for calling me and said that she called me because she is interested in the SIC program that I want to run, because she knows that it will be of immense benefit to people of Niger State. That she is heading the committee that is looking at IBB and IBB Specialist Hospital and the General Hospital, and she's looking for ways of us being able to keep into the program. We are very looking. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have Her Excellency here today to talk to us. No family has not had the visit of cancer to one of his members. The problem we have in this part of the world is that until you are going down, you don't know. She is so bothered, so concerned, and recently in the university community, we lost some people to cancer. So when we saw the race foundation, which she empowered, which expanded, and we saw what is afflicting us, we approached her. Please, Your Excellency, want you, because we know our specialty, want you to come and give us a talk. Gladly, she accepted. We are very grateful. As I said, very difficult to introduce your own mother, who is the wife of the governor of your state, but you have to introduce her so that you know that she's not just here by accident. We did not just invite her because she's the wife of the governor. We invited her because she's specialist in what she talks about. I cannot ask her to stand up. If it's in the university, I will say, stand up, I want to introduce you. But I will not ask you to stand up. Dr. Amina Abubakar Bello was born a few years ago. You are not expected to know when she was born. A few years ago. Into the family of His Excellency, our former head of state, General Abubakar Absalam, and Honorable Justice Fati Abubakar. His Excellency giving birth to Her Excellency. Of course, she went to primary school, which she completed as a daughter of a soldier. She completed primary school at Command Children's School, Kaduna, before proceeding to Federal Government for Guest College, Bakuri, where she obtained her SSCE certificate. Her constant yearn to assist humanity led her to study medicine at our mother institution, Amina Bello University, Zaria, where she obtained Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree, and graduated in the year 2000. Due to her passion to acquire more knowledge, she proceeded to the University of Liverpool in the United Kingdom to obtain master's degree in public health. Her Excellency, as a medical doctor, was a nurse officer. She worked as a nurse officer, then enrolled for the postgraduate medical program. She did NYC. She's not exempted because she was the daughter of head of state. She did NYC and went through the ranks to become a senior registrar at Amina Bello Teaching Hospital. She has been involved in various research work. She was even researching before the call of duty brought her to Minna here. She's a member of various medical and related allied professional associations. More importantly, very importantly, she's the founder of Race Foundation, a non-governmental organization which is focused on the reduction of maternal, neonatal, and child health. And men, not only, because all of us say children and mothers, and we men include us. This foundation employs integrated approaches that are centered on reproductive rights, healthcare, education, and empowerment of women and girls, in bracket, and men. Of course, our amiable lecturer today is happily married to our friend, our brother, our amiable governor of Niger State, Abubakar Bello, and they are blessed with children. Our hobbies, including solving puzzles, she was very good in English, reading, and spending time with her family. It is my pleasure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to invite Her Excellency to present Your Excellency.
Governor Hajja Aisha Ahmed, the wife of the Speaker, Niger State House of Assembly, Hajja Saratu Larry Maraka, the Chief Host, Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Technology, Minna, Professor Akanji Adewumi Musbawu, the Honorable Member, State House of Assembly, representing rural local government, Honorable Binta Mama, other wives of Honorable Members here present, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Professor Oluwole Moreni Keji, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration Professor Suleiman Sadiku, the Registrar of the University Mrs. Victoria Nkolo, the Librarian Dr. Jibril Al-Hassan, the Chairman Seminar and Colloquium Committee Professor Bisi Ayanwole, the wife of the Deputy Chief of Staff, Hajja Aisha Zubairu Ida Isa, the wives of the Honorable Commissioners here present, the CEO Race Foundation, Mr. Shakira Toyin Dawodu, the deans of schools present here, directors and HODs here, students, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, I say a very good morning to you all. I want to thank the management of Federal University of Technology for inviting me to present this very important lecture today. And I'm really delighted to be here, and I hope that I'll be able to impact something that was used to all of you here. And I'd like to thank the VC for his wonderful introduction. Just a note on stressing that men are in bracket for Race Foundation. Our logic is that when a woman is healthy, the family is healthy. So by taking care of the woman, you automatically take care of the husband and the men. Now the children come in because the children are very vulnerable, and the children just go hand in hand with the mothers. So yes, the men are there, not necessarily in bracket. For the lecture today is early detection of cancer, a panacea of graceful aging. I think when I was looking at my slides, I saw that there were very many. There were up to 70. I don't want to scare all of you, but I was told I have about 40 minutes for the lecture. I will try not to bore you, but I tried as much as possible to put all the important details that we need to know. The essence of this lecture is for the public to be aware of exactly what cancer is, how to detect it, and to understand the issues surrounding cancer. We have found that there are a lot of misconceptions with regarding issues dealing with cancer in terms of what causes it, how to prevent it, and stuff like that. And one of the biggest problems we have in our country is that more than 80% of our patients that have cancer present at the late stages. And so automatically it's a death sentence for most people. And it shouldn't be. In the developed world where they're able to detect these things early, a lot of people survive, and they're actually called cancer survivors. So we want to see a country in Nigeria where that can also happen for us. So I just want to highlight some of the things that we all need to know and understand so that we can move forward with it. And at the end of the lecture, there will be opportunities for questions. So I would appreciate any questions so that I know that my audience has actually understood what I have said. Now, this is the term that is used to describe a group of diseases that are characterized by rapid growth of abnormal cells that grow beyond their boundaries. Basically, it's a term, cancer is a term that describes not only that, from where it starts, it now goes and affects other organs. The cells that are invading the other parts of the organ spread, and this process of invasion is called metastasis. And this is the main cause of death in cancer patients. There are going to be a lot of medical terms. Some of these terms I can't break it down into, I can't say it in another language. It has to be that particular word, but I'll try as much as possible to explain it. The process of invasion, like I said, is what is called metastasis. The problem with cancer is when you have a problem in one cell, usually when you have a disease, maybe in the abdomen, it will stay there. From the intestine, it can go and enter the liver. From there, it can go to the lungs. Now, this process that it's going to the other organs is called metastasis. It has become a leading cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide. In 2012, there were over 40 million new cases of cancer and about 8.2 million cancer-related deaths in 2012. Now, the second commonest cause of death in developed countries is cancer, and for us, it is the third leading cause of death, following infectious diseases. But among non-communicable diseases, cancer is the leading cause of death. The burden of cancer in Nigeria is unknown. We don't really know the true burden because we have very poor population statistics and very poor data collection. But a study in 2002 showed that the incidence of cancer was about 90.7 per 1,000 women, and that is 100.9 per 10,000 men. Aging is one of the fundamental factors for the development of cancer. It occurs in all ages, it occurs in all sexes, it occurs in all types of the body, but aging has been found to be the fundamental factor to development of cancer. So the older a person is, the more likely the person has a cancer. The global burden, developed world, they have this life expectancy of up to 70 years and above. So the older the population, the higher the chances of cancer, along with the other factors that contribute to cancer, such as lifestyles like smoking and alcohol. A combination of that together with the aging increases the incidence of cancer. Now, giant strides have been made in the development of drugs and the modalities for cancer. A lot of studies have gone into cancer over the last decades. But despite all the developments, and 1/3 of cancers are preventable, but for the remaining 2/3, early detection, prevention, early detection, and treatment remains the best chances of survival. Now let's go to the causes and the risk factors for cancer. The specific cause of cancer is unknown. Cell in the body that transforms into a tumor. Our bodies are made of cells. Every part of our body is made of particular cells that combine to make that particular organ. So the individual, then when that becomes abnormal, it now transforms into a growing abnormal cell that
will now grow rapidly and become a tumor. It typically occurs in a multi-stage process, meaning it starts from being precancerous and then gradually to become a cancerous cell, meaning from there it becomes malignant and cancerous. Now, these changes that have led to these processes are as a result of interaction between the genetic makeup of an individual and the external factors. And these external factors, now this is, I don't know whether this diagram is clear enough. It's a way of explaining how it happens. If you see the first, say a pointer here. Oh, now this one, that is a cell that is normal. And then here, you have a genetic change that occurs together with external factors. And here you are going to have an abnormal cell. If you look at it, it's a little bit different from this one. So from this, it now grows into two. Ideally, what should happen is, if you have an abnormal cell, the body has some mechanisms that allows that cell to die. So when it fails to die, that is how it becomes cancerous. So instead of dying, it now multiplies 2, 4, like that, until it now becomes like this, and that is what is a malignant tumor. Now, these external factors, it's not just, the first one is either a physical, okay, now the agents that actually cause cancer are called carcinogens. So these carcinogens can be divided into 3: physical, chemical, and biological. The physical carcinogens are things like ultraviolet or ionizing radiation. I will explain that. That is usually like energy from the sun. Then chemical carcinogens are chemicals like asbestos, the chemicals in tobacco smoke, and poisons like arsenic. And then biological carcinogens are mostly infections, either from certain bacteria or from certain viruses. Now, physical carcinogens, there are 2 major types. You have the ultraviolet radiation and ionizing radiation. What radiation is the emission or sending out of energy from a source. The most common form of energy is what? Our sunlight. It sends energy out. Now, that energy it sends out is radiation. The ultraviolet radiation is a type of magnetic radiation that you can actually get it either from man-made sources or from the sun. The man-made sources are things like, in the developed world, they have what is called a suntan bed. White people like to look dark. It makes them look beautiful. So they have created something where they can go and lie under it that will make their skin dark. So those are called sunbeds. That emits radiation and has been associated with development of cancer. Now, what these UV rays do is that they can become ionized, meaning this is a bit technical, but for it to cause the cancer, it's called ionized. It has to be ionized. And what happens is that an atom is released from one of the molecules in the cells. That goes and damages the DNA in the cells of an individual that leads to either cell death or cancer. Like I was explaining, if there's a damage to a cell, the body takes over and the cell dies. If the cell doesn't die, it now can transform into cancer. Now, for UV rays, they come in different wavelengths. You have, the higher the wavelength, the higher the chances of cancer. Now, all of us are exposed to rays, so we shouldn't be afraid that the sunlight is going to cause cancer for us. What happens is that there are different types of rays. The first one is the UVA ray. This makes up 95% of the UV rays that come from the sun. And most of them, what they do is they actually cause damage to the skin cells. And that is what gives us wrinkles when we age. So that is a normal progression of exposure to sunlight, which is why you see people that are exposed to the sun have more wrinkles than those that are not exposed to the sun. Fortunately for us black people, our melanin, that is the pigment that makes us black, gives us some protection against those rays. Something good for black people. There are many things good. In fact, when we go along, you see many good things in black people actually, with cancer. Oh, what happened? Now, so the second rays. These are higher than the UVA rays, and they can damage the DNA directly, and that damage to the DNA directly is what can lead to cancer. So most skin cancers are as a result of direct skin exposure to UV rays in the sunlight, and the occurrence is typically related to lifetime exposure of the sun. So the longer you stay in those high UVB rays, the higher you have a chance of developing cancer. Skin cancers are very rare. The gland in the neck, bladder cancer, and ovarian cancer. These are the ones that are typically associated with exposure to atomic radiation. Now, the risk of cancer from imaging tests such as X-rays and CT scans and ultrasounds and so on, the risk is not so clear. However, the risk still remains. But what has been discovered is that if you have multiple tests, it is the people who actually come up with cancer from those is multiple exposures to those tests. But even then, we can't say categorically that these cancers are as a result of exposure to these things. But the kind of X-rays that have been, the kind of investigations that have been associated with it are fluoroscopy. Now, these ones are the ones that use high dose of X-rays for the test. So fluoroscopy, dental X-rays, spine X-rays, and CT scans. And usually, it is in children that you have that effect, rather than adults. But not to scare anybody, these are rare. They can happen, but it's not that it happens on a regular basis. So what is being done is you have a regulation on the amount of exposure a person can get to do some particular tests. So I can assure you that most of us are safe when we do any of those tests. I don't want anybody to go back and say they don't want CT scan because it causes cancer. So it's safe to actually do those tests. Now the next group are the chemical carcinogens. Now the chemical carcinogens are chemicals that have been discovered over time to be the cause of cancers, particularly a group of cancers called occupational cancers. Occupational cancers are cancers that have occurred because the person that has been working in that environment has been exposed to that chemical that has been linked to cancer. The chemicals can be either natural or man-made. What they do is that they transform the cells and induce the tumors by acting directly on the DNA, damaging the DNA, or indirectly by producing some substances in the body that are called pro-carcinogens. These chemical agents are called, I mentioned it before, carcinogens. So these ones can act directly on the DNA causing damage, but the pro-carcinogens are metabolites, substances that will be deposited in the blood that can now go and cause that damage. Now this is a table that identifies some of the cancers that occur as a result of some chemicals. Let me just highlight a few here. Asbestos, that is 1, 2, 3. The fourth line, asbestos. It is the occupation is people who work with asbestos workers, shipyard installation workers, and it is responsible for causing cancer of the lungs, bronchus, pleura, and peritoneum. The pleura is the lining that surrounds the lungs, and the peritoneum is the lining that surrounds the abdomen. Then you have things like arsenic, which is a type of poison that we get in rat poison actually. People who use them, gold miners, some vineyard, because arsenic can be found naturally. So gold miners, vineyard workers, that is people who grow grapes for wine, and then oil smelters, those that work with iron, can be exposed, when they're exposed to arsenic, can develop skin cancer and bronchus cancer. Those cancers, now the amount of exposure determines the development of the disease. Now, one of the most significant risk factors for development of cancer is smoking. Tobacco smoking is the single greatest avoidable factor for cancer. It is associated with about 22% of all cancers in the world. So please, all the smokers here, listen to me very well. Apart from causing this cancer to the person who smokes, there's something called second-hand smoking. And that causes cancer for people who are not even smoking, which is why you see that in public places, smoking is banned. Somebody can live a very healthy life, but because his own genetic makeup is different, can be exposed to smoking from somebody outside and develop lung cancer. And this is the reason why smoking is not allowed in public places in a lot of places. Tobacco smoke is associated with so many cancers, notably lung cancer, throat cancer, oesophagus, that is also inside the throat, the mouth, the kidney, the stomach, and the cervix, and also breast cancer. I don't know how I missed breast cancer here. Breast cancer is one of it. 70% of all lung cancers are caused by tobacco smoke. Secondhand smoking has been proven to cause lung cancer in non-smoking adults. Tobacco causes this by it has about 69 chemicals that are said to be cancerous. Some of them are acetaldehyde, benzene, and arsenic, and these are known to cause cancer.